World War II affected every person in Canada, from all the men and women enlisting in the Army, Air Force, and Navy, to the nurses and doctors who went overseas to assist with medical treatment. Here in Yorkton, the city was chosen to help in a different way. Instead of sending airmen overseas, the city welcomed airmen from overseas. I'm Hayden DeGrow, and I'm the Culture and Heritage Specialist for the City of Yorkton. I love learning history, and teaching people about Yorkton's past is a proud part of my job. Join me as I highlight fascinating people, places, and events from Yorkton's history and take you where these places can be found today. This is Yorkton Retold. In 1939, after they had all declared war on the Axis powers, Great Britain and its Commonwealth partners of Canada, New Zealand, and Australia signed an agreement to create a training network that would produce pilots, navigators, bomb aimers, air gunners, flight engineers, and wireless operators. These men and women would then serve their respective national air forces in the European and Pacific theaters. In 1940, Yorkton was told that it had been selected for a flight training school, which quickly was labeled as the number 11 Service Flight Training School Yorkton and the number 23 Elementary Flight Training School. Starting in the spring of that year, a trio of paved runways were built, forming a simple triangle that was standard for the time. A fourth was later built on the east side of the airport. What we see in this photo was the access road and parking lot for this base, with a garden planted to welcome visitors. The base also received 3 main hangars to house and repair the airplanes that would be stationed here. The large building we see over there is the last one of those hangars remaining. Several other buildings were built, including a large mess hall and a 35-bed hospital. On June 11, 1941, the base officially opened, with local dignitaries and Air Force officials welcoming the first students to the school. The first planes flying from the school were the Harvard Trainer, manufactured by North American Aircraft. 14 of the planes were brought in from Winnipeg to start things off. However, beginning of October of 1941, the Harvard planes were gradually replaced with the Cessna Crane, which we see here. The reason for this change is because there was a bigger need for bomber pilots by this time, and 2-engine pilots were therefore needed more. Not only did the city feel it could directly contribute to the war, the base also provided the city with significant income. With the mess hall making 3 meals a day, the food was supplied by local vendors, boosting the economics of the city. For those who did not enlist in the conflict, there were plenty of civilian jobs to undertake. This included many families that housed trainees from the base within their homes in the city, as well as cooks and maintenance staff on the base, and working trucks that shuttled servicemen and women back and forth. At its peak, the base housed over 1,000 workers and was one of the largest businesses in Yorkton. People from Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain, and even some from the United States were schooled at the base, learning how to fly planes and eventually serve in the war. Though the base was successful, that doesn't mean it was not without incidents. During its 4 years of operation, over 15 planes crashed, with none of them proving fatal. 2 of the lost pilots came from overseas, one from Australia and the other from England. Obviously, the war did not last forever, and when victory was declared in 1945, the pilots on the base were thrilled. It has been said, though not officially documented, that as soon as the base was given the news of victory, 2 pilots jumped into the nearest plane and took off for an unauthorized flight. They flew as low as safely possible over Yorkton, celebrating their new peace. When they landed back at the airbase, their commanding officer declared them grounded for life for their joyride. They responded by saying, "We don't care, we quit." The school was officially closed in January of 1946, with nearly 2,000 pilots having earned their wings through the school. Though many buildings were demolished, including the hangar whose concrete pad I'm standing on here, Transport Canada retained one of the runways and some of the hangars to create Yorkton Municipal Airport. The one remaining paved runway was lengthened so that larger airplanes and small jet aircraft could land at the airport. One particularly famous visit was the newly formed Royal Canadian Air Force flight demonstration team, the Golden Hawks. Afterwards, small airlines operated flights between Yorkton, Winnipeg, Regina, and Saskatoon. Today, charter flights continue on that legacy. The airport also sees crop dusters and private aircraft landing and taking off every day. The legacy the airbase left is still visible today in other places as well. Here, we can see a miniature model of a Cessna crane hanging in Yorkton's public pool. For more information on the Yorkton Airport and for more information on the airbase, there will be links for the City of Yorkton website and the Yorkton Royal Canadian Legion branch, respectively, in the description down below. When Yorkton looked destined to be just another source of servicemen and women and nothing more, the government built a military base that welcomed people to the city. With 2,000 pilots saying that they owe Yorkton their wings, the city's contribution was invaluable. While World War II was not an exciting time due to the constant tension and economic restriction, Yorkton did manage to add things to the conflict, helping the Allies to their victory. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. See you next time, history buffs.